Welcome to What's the Scenario at PLRB, where we explore claims and coverage scenarios relevant to insurance professionals. I'm Brennan McLaughlin.
I'm Mike Brode.
I'm Dana Groden, VP of GemCore and a co-founder of DigiPraise.
And I'm Allison McClaney, also a VP at GemCore and the other co-founder of DigiPraise.
Yay, welcome back, ladies.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Allie, what's the scenario?
The insured felt like she did everything right. She insured the ring when she bought it, kept it scheduled on her policy, kept up with maintenance, and filed a claim right away when it was stolen. She even submitted the original appraisal for $22,000 so the insurance company would know how much to write on the check. So she was shocked when the insurance payout was only $14,000. Apparently, diamonds are cheaper today, but she thinks, shouldn't the appraisal lock in the cost?
All right. I'm looking forward to jumping into this scenario, but I heard you had an icebreaker for us.
Yeah. So first of all, it's important to discuss what are the credentials to be an appraiser?
Maybe you just have to really like jewelry and really like looking at it.
That would be a start. Or maybe I'm certified by the Gemology Institutes of the World. How's that?
Well, you could be a diamondologist, whatever that is. No, it's actually, to answer the question, technically, you don't have to have any kind of credentials to write a jewelry appraisal. There's no industry standard. There's no governing body on where to write an appraisal. It's really up to the insurance company whether they'll accept an appraisal and the kind of appraisal that are accepted. But generally speaking, the best appraisals to get and the ones that insurance companies like to see are those that are completed by someone like me, who's a graduate gemologist. It's a title by the Gemological Institute of America. You're close.
Oh, just America, not the world. Well, mine's much better than I've got from the world.
I'd love to be. Yes, I'm a graduate gemologist of the world. No.
We probably have seen that on an appraisal before, Mike. I mean, I think tomorrow, if this whole PLRB thing doesn't work out for you, you can hang a shingle on your door and be the diamondologist of the world. We'll put everything together there.
It's a good plan B for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Plan B. So while there isn't a recommended style of an appraisal, and then we do have accepted industry standards, but in reality, there is no set governance over who writes an appraisal and where it's from. But most insurance companies are getting pretty, they want to see some kind of title. But my goodness, in my profession, and we've been doing this for many years at GemCore and now DigiPraise, we have seen a lot of appraisals that are incomplete. And the title of the person who's delivering the appraisal is nothing. So there's your answer for that one.
Interesting.
So It kind of sounds like we were both right, Mike.
Right.
Both got a little bit of the correct answer there. I'll split it with you.
Right. Wild West.
Wild West. I was going to say the same thing. It is.
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. I know. So to get along to that question, it's a very good one, and we get that asked a lot. Yeah. Allie, do you want to address?
We're jumping on the question. We haven't heard it yet.
Let's hop into the scenario, right?
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Okay, so the insured had the appraisal for $22,000. Totally assumed when she had her claim, the check would just say $22,000 on it. And yet she gets the check and it is much lower. And she's shocked. She's upset at the insurance company. She's probably upset at the vendor who suggested that amount. She's upset at her jeweler who wrote $22,000, at the agent who didn't tell her. So what happened here? Who is at fault? Yeah.
If it's anything in my life, I'm at fault, Allie. I'm sure I had something to do with this, but yeah, it's interesting because matter, what did she pay $22,000 for it? Do we know? And anything that has any kind of value, sometimes, especially collectible stuff, can go up or down based on how the market's going at that time. So I can see where there could be some variability here. But yeah, it does get to a question as a old adjuster. And again, one of the reasons I moved to casualty is somebody gets an appraisal in, and let's say we scheduled that as an insurance carrier for $22,000 and based a premium on that. That was the number one complaint I'd get from folks is, hey, you guys, you're more of an expert than I am in this stuff, big old insurance company. You were charging me a premium based on this $22,000, but then when the loss happens, you're not paying me the $22,000 that I paid my premium on. And then, then there was a lot of explaining to do and figuring out. And so, it could get very difficult, Allie, and I'm sure you guys get in the middle of that too quite often.
Yeah.
Well, it's still, I don't know if this is refreshing, but that's still the question. That's still the argument today. I just had that yesterday as well. So tell me why I'm not getting my $22,000.
Right.
I've been paying premiums on it for so long. And the answer is that there's multiple kinds of policies.
Right.
Right. And it's really up to the agent when they take out the policy and then the adjuster to really have clarity on what the language and what that means.
Right.
If it's an agreed value policy, there really is there's no question that will be the payout if a piece is lost or stolen.
Yep.
Replacement cost, right.
I was just going to say, and if it's not scheduled at all, there could be a policy limitation where they're only paying you $2,500 or whatever the policy says. So it can be really even worse conversation to have sometimes with folks if they don't insure it properly.
Well, that's on them, right? They know if they've added, and they know that if they have a rider. But the arguments come in because they see this dollar sign that they get on their schedule. They're scheduled for $22,000, but when it's a replacement cost, the insurance company is looking to replace that portion of the item, and whatever it costs to replicate the way that thing is read and designed, and make that person whole again. So my simple response to an insured, if this comes, to me as the consultant, is if I could replace the exact same language of the way your appraisal reads, then whoever wrote that $22,000 appraisal, whoever valued the piece, would absolutely have to value the piece again back at 22, because we've replicated what we've taken the missing piece and we've made you whole again. And that's what replacement cost is. And that's what the insurance company is looking for.
Right.
And so it gets a lot of questions like, well, who determines that and why not? And we don't want any headaches. So we try to explain that this is the goal of what the insurance is. If it's a missing piece, if they've lost the whole item, it's the same thing. If you're replicating exactly what you had to the letter, cut, color, clarity, carat, weight, if we're referring to diamonds or colored stones, then their value is restored at whatever number that is. But it's always a hard conversation to have with the clients.
And a lot of times y'all are replacing the actual, or at least can help replace the actual piece of jewelry, correct? So at least
if needed, the vendor can come in like Gemcore and provide the replacement at the amount we quoted to make the customer whole. A lot of carriers do not require a replacement. There's a few out there like Jewelers Mutual, for example, where it's a replacement policy and the customer is typically well aware of that. And then the insurance company will work directly with the jeweler and negotiate the price. But if you bring in the expert who then can call Mr. Mike, Mr. Wonderful, and say, wait a second, it's only costing you 10. Where are you getting off on quoting 22,000?
Right.
Can we agree that 14 is a more, that's fair. You're still making 4,000.
Right.
Then everyone's happy. Mike gets the sale, the right price is paid, and it gets resolved.
Very good.
Yeah.
And could some of it come, I'm sorry, Anna, but if I had an older appraisal, say I got that done 20 years ago and haven't had it back to be reappraised or looked at again, is that something that an insured should do, is maybe occasionally update it and make sure something hasn't changed drastically?
Yeah.
So many times the insured thinks that their insurance company automatically raises their value of their jewelry due to inflation. This is not the case.
Yeah.
It is on the insured to keep their appraisals updated, which is why we created DigiPraise.
Yay.
Yay.
We saw too often the customer with the $22,000 appraisal, and now the ring is worth $30,000. Then they have the claim, and now they go to replace it, and they're only paid the $22,000. It's the reverse scenario now, and then they're also upset. So it's really laborsome, inconvenient to get that appraisal updated. So we did create DigiPraise as a remote solution. And now we have a lot of carriers partnering with us just to make it available to the customer, just to at least find a reason to remind them, hey, you can go to your jeweler, but if that's inconvenient, here's another solution. And now if they have the claim, at least the carrier can say, we told you about this.
Right.
We gave you the option. We reminded you. And it goes both ways. Diamond prices are down right now. Gold is really high.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people just curious with what their pieces are worth. And having an easy solution like DigiPraise is key. Yeah.
And how's it work, Allie or Dana?
For
Did you send you a picture or DigiPraise, how's it work?
Yeah, we built DigiPraise with the partnership of our carriers. So we really were looking for fraud mitigation tools.
Oh.
So it's really important that, we actually have a patent on it for the fraud mitigation components, but the customer takes a photo of their existing document because we need that to work from. This is not a first time appraisal. This is someone who already has insurance, has had the piece covered, and there's either a deck page or something to work from. They take a photo of that, and then they take a few angles of photos of the piece, and we're verifying that they really are in possession of it. And then we're providing that updated value. Super simple. The customer pays the cost, so there's no cost to the carrier or the agent who suggested that they update it. Yeah. And they receive a digital update within 24 hours. It's much better than the 1 month wait time from a jeweler, much better than the $150 fee, and everyone's happy because when there is a claim and the customer didn't schedule it, underinsured, they're upset with somebody. They're really upset to lose the piece.
Right.
The jewelry is very sentimental. They're already upset that that's gone. Salt in the wound if they now have to come out of pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a great solution for the agents too, because we don't want to we love our agents out there, independent and captive. I'll take them both.
True.
But if there's a way that they can streamline their system so that they can help their insureds better properly insure all of their items, that would be extremely helpful to everybody involved in the claim.
And actually, to add on that, the last 6 months for the gold market, and not just gold, silver, and platinum as well, these are record highs, and they've increased exponentially quick in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So things are 25, 30% higher only because the gold prices have shot up that much.
Okay.
Wow.
It's really, we are at record highs and they're just climbing. Gold is at almost $4,500 an ounce today.
Wow.
It's crazy. So I would assume that many appraisals are low today simply based on the increase in the gold market. And platinum is high. Silver is at record highs. It's a crazy time for these material costs.
Yep.
And it's trickling down into the jewelry market. So there's never been a better time to use DigiPraise. Especially insurance carriers are going to find themselves with a lot of angry people, to be honest, if the values aren't, updated promptly.
And it sounds like there's an opportunity for maybe earlier messaging because, it can be hard to explain when you reach that point and someone's feeling really sentimental and upset about their piece. And there's a lot to explain about how all this works. But if you've got agents and carriers that understand this and can communicate how it works early and just kind of tee up that process, it sounds like that could have an impact here.
That's a very good point. Most people are purchasing insurance for the, awful event of a loss, but people don't really think it's going to happen to them. So they're not putting themselves into that, into those shoes. But if an agent, captive or independent, explains this well, you're showing empathy, you're building trust, you're showing knowledge. It's a conversation starter. It's win-win. And you're doing it well ahead. And then there's that chance for that positive claims experience, which is what every carrier is hoping for. When that review comes, did the customer have a good experience? It can go one way or the other. And it's back to the original question here too. It also ties into how well do they understand their policy and what they bought? Did somebody sell them agreed? Did they understand what replacement cost policy was? There's some carriers that pay actual cash value. That takes into depreciation. So it's just really an explanation of the type of policy that is being sold to the customer with clarity. Because when you get things wrong, questions, come up. They question a lot.
Why didn't you ever tell me that? I had to schedule this item and there was limited coverage.
Yeah.
It's also one thing that comes up quite a bit when it comes to these items is that it just, let's say it was 10 years old, but their jeweler gave them an inflated appraisal at the time.
Yeah.
And it's still inflated today, despite the increase in gold and diamonds. And sometimes, so one of the people that can almost be a tool here is their jeweler, and to have a conversation with their original jeweler if that person is still around. And that's sometimes valuable to get a replacement quote directly from the jeweler, and that can be reviewed. But some jewelers are great and honest, and others say, well, if it was $22,000 10 years ago, it's going to be $50,000 today,
right? Without
even looking at what the item actually was. So GemCore has seen a fair share of those, and we've had to basically call the jeweler to say, hey, let's get on the same page here on behalf of your client and my client to everyone's satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like we've come full circle back to the icebreaker with, hey, what are the credentials of this appraiser after all?
Exactly.
But I think that makes it a good time. Let's transition into our 3 key takeaways.
Ooh.
All right, what are some quick takeaways we should take away from here?
I definitely feel that it's important that the adjusters explain the policy to the customer, so they're very clear that it's not necessarily an agreed value, that $22,000 isn't agreed upon. It's going to be a replacement cost, and we will fairly come to that conclusion.
And they should probably look for a person who's a gemologist, whatever.
Diamatologist.
World, right? Thank you.
No, not the diamatologist.
Right. Accredited appraiser is really important. If you're seeking an appraisal, if you have a graduate gemologist writing it, then you know that there's an accurate description. You know that they have knowledge of the value of the piece, not just from their store, but just globally, an idea of where the market's at when they're writing that appraisal. Very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if there's any questions, they could always reach out to DigiAppraise, I think somewhere.
Definitely get those appraisals updated. Anyone watching this podcast, send it to your friends, So ask for the Mike Diamantologist of the World discount. So yeah, we're here to help you. We'll use this as a resource. Yes, we appreciate this industry.
All right, well, we'll add some information here. And Mike, I know we've got some CE courses and podcasts. Where should an adjuster go to learn more?
Well, always check out our fabulous site, Brennan, as you know, at www.plrb.org. And up there in one of those tabs, you'll find the education tab. And yes, you can type in jewelry or diamondologist of the world. I don't know that will come up with anything.
Not that one, apparently.
Okay. So go back to jewelry. And then, any educational items we have there will pop up magically on your screen. Check it out. You can get some CE credit from one just for knowledge. Podcasts always just fun to listen to, just for funsies. So all sorts of awesome stuff at plrb.org. So check it out, people.
All right. And I will put all that in the show notes. And there you'll also find a recap of the key points from this episode and links to our social media. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us. And please give us a call at 630-509-8704 and leave a voicemail to share your adjuster story. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this resource are those of the individual speaker and not necessarily those of the Property and Liability Resource Bureau, its membership, or any organization with which the presenter is employed or affiliated. The information, ideas, and opinions are presented as information only and not as legal advice or offers of representation. Individual policy language and state laws vary, and listeners should rely on guidance from their companies and counsel as appropriate.